Georgia 24, South Carolina 14. I just saw this game so much different than everyone else. I got a bunch of feedback on it before I watched it. And on the flight home this morning, I watched it, and I thought it was a great day for Georgia. Not a great performance. Not all great days coincide with you playing your best ball. In fact, in a lot of cases, you play very subpar ball and you find a way to win, and it ends up being a great thing for you because it ends up springboarding several intangible aspects of your program. And I think that's what happened with them yesterday. So South Carolina, to their immense credit, they just took the fight to Georgia early. And they out executed them early. I think, Rattler was 8 for 8 on his opening drive. They were more physical early, which is what surprised me the most, given the struggles they had in week one. But it's obvious what they emphasized. It's obvious they had a really good plan. But Georgia goes into the half, and then this is what's beautiful about theater of the mind. Like, you've never seen Colin and Jesse before, so you have to just imagine what they must look like, what they must be like. Well, likewise, you can only imagine what Kirby Smart did in the locker room. Like, a lot of you picture him burning incense, possibly speaking in tongues, and doing all sorts of wizardry to get that team to come out in the second half and perform like they were supposed to. And in reality, it's just the way football works. I'm sure a few things were said. I'm sure a few tweaks were made. But by and large, when you've got better horses, you just got to let the horses run. And Georgia kind of let the horses run in the second half. Might we look back at that second half, by the way, and think that that was Georgia's trigger moment? Because yesterday in the second half, you want some padlock stats. They outscored South Carolina 21-0. They had a 290 to 129 yardage advantage, 15 to 7 first down advantage. They had nearly 7 yards per play. They held South Carolina to 24 yards passing, picked them off twice, and outrushed them 119 to 25. That is a dissection in the second half of a football game that they looked woefully inadequate in the first half. Last year means nothing. And I know you hear Kirby Smart say it all the time, and all these coaches who do big things one year, they have to just hammer it home all the time. But I don't think a lot of people believe it because of how many times I hear the word defending said. Well, this is the defending SEC champ or national champ. They're not defending anything. Nothing about last year matters. In fact, a lot of times in college football, the better you did the year before, the more detrimental it can be to you in the next year, because every opponent you have is fired up because of what you did last year, but yet you get no carryover effect. Georgia doesn't get an additional point or yard passing or yard rushing because they're back-to-back national champs. They got to go out and prove it. This team has to be this year's team. And yet, everyone gives you their best shot. And like I always say, the sport doesn't sit still. So you're a 4-touchdown favorite in this game. Doesn't matter. Once you taste your own blood a little bit in the first half and you realize, well, South Carolina's not about to play the part they're supposed to play, apparently. Are we going to play the part we're supposed to play? First half, no. Second half, overwhelming, yes. So I couldn't care less what they did the last 2 years. I've felt that this is a team with holes so far this year. I think most diehard Georgia fans who have watched them have noticed, there's inadequacy on this team. Good thing we're in a year where there is no elite team out there apparently right now. And so the point is, you've got to find whatever your identity is for this year's team. That team that played in the second half yesterday, that was an identity. Like, that's a team that looks like it knows what it's doing. And, of course, can you bottle that up? Can you avoid starting slow the rest of the year? I don't know. That's why I ask it in question form. Is that second half something that we will look back on with Georgia a month from now when they play Florida, for example, and we say, boy, this team's clicking on all cylinders now. They just blew Florida out. I think that second half against South Carolina, that's really when the identity of this year's team was born. Or could we be looking at them a month from now getting upset by Florida and saying, we got fooled by that second half against South Carolina. We really should have paid attention to how long it even took them to get a double-digit lead on them. It was a red herring. It was a canary in the coal mine. I don't know. A lot of skill in saying those words, by the way. No matter how big the microphone is they put in your face, don't be afraid to just say, I don't know sometimes. I've got a feeling that Georgia will be much better because of yesterday. That's my feeling. I've got a feeling that when they go to Auburn in a couple of weeks, could be interesting. They're not in a situation right now where they're playing the kind of football where you just expect them to shred folks like maybe they have in the last couple of years. I don't think the ceiling of this team is as high as the last couple of years. That's fine. They can still win a title and not be as good as the last couple of years. They could go 10-2 this year. I don't know how that's going to turn out. But I do think yesterday, in the long run, was a good day for Georgia football, even though the Georgia football team played well short of what the standard there is. That was the way I saw that. I mean, my phone's going crazy with folks freaking out saying, man, we ain't going to make it nowhere near where we want to make it if we play like this. Well, you know what? Florida folks said the same thing, and 2 weeks later, there they are upset in Tennessee, and they don't even consider it an upset. It's football, man. It's the way it works.